This is the morning edition of the Weather Extreme video. I'm James Spann. This is for Wednesday the 29th, our little bonus day here in February. And we've got active weather, as you might expect, with the beginning of meteorological spring tomorrow. Let's take a look at some of the Skycam shots around the network early this morning. First off, coming from Fayette. It's kind of a mild and breezy morning. The sky is cloudy. There's a look at downtown Birmingham from the Daniel Building, looking south, and way down south in Troy. In Pike County, looks like little rain falling there around the campus and the football stadium. Man, oh man, what a mess. Deep upper low that's situated where Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa all come together. A big blizzard on top of that thing over the Dakotas and Minnesota. And down to the south in the warm sector, we've got some big storms. That's the radar coming out of Paducah, Kentucky early this morning, a little after 5 o'clock. And look at all those tornado warnings. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And apparently a major tornado came through Branson, Missouri last night, causing significant damage and injuries. All of that's kind of breaking. And once we get the daylight, we'll be able to know more about that. And other tornadoes reported as well. So a very significant event there. And then up in the cold sector, that's a raging snowstorm over Minneapolis and St. Paul and Minnesota. But let's focus on the severe weather. That's our deal. This is the convective outlook for the rest of today and tonight. The standard slight risk for the northern halves of Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. Within that, there's the enhancement. The 30% probabilities are running from about Gadsden, Birmingham, and Tuscaloosa north to near Cincinnati. And that's the actual wind probabilities, the chance of damaging wind. That would be 58 miles per hour or greater. And this is the actual tornado threat. And the tornado threat is clearly higher north of here. And 10% is pretty significant. That means there's a 10% chance of a tornado passing within 25 miles of a given point. And keep in mind, tornadoes are very small. And again, you can see that impacts Nashville. And again, we'll go through this in a moment, but we still think the main threat will be from strong straight-line winds down here later today and tonight. Now, tomorrow, low-end 5% severe weather probabilities from Muscle Shoals over to near Sallisaw, Oklahoma. And really, that's kind of a lull day. We're in between systems, and then here comes round 2 on Friday, the standard slight risk from Jackson, Demopolis, Birmingham, and Anniston North to Columbus, Ohio, and Indianapolis, Indiana. And again, we have an enhancement Friday night in roughly the same area from North Alabama and Mississippi up into Ohio. And again, we'll look at that in more detail here in just a moment. A lot to talk about this morning. And rain, yeah, a lot of it. The numbers are coming up. In fact, a bullseye of 4.8 inches up on the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee. Down here, this is suggesting rain amounts of 2 to 3 inches for the northern half of the state between now and Sunday evening. And, of course, almost all of this will come with these two big storm events. All right, let's go through this. This is the GFS, the 06Z run at noon today. And you can see the upper support is clearly well to the north of here. We'll go down below that. This is the RPM at noon today. During the day, there could be a few showers around today. But the bigger event will be late this afternoon and tonight. And again, you can see the storms up in Tennessee. We'll go to 6 o'clock this evening, and there's your squall line developing. And within that line, that's when you'll have the risk of strong, perhaps damaging straight-line winds. And then tonight at midnight, as the upper support continues to move away, the air becomes more stable. The storms weaken. They kind of drift below Interstate 20 and fizzle out as the cold front stalls out. Somewhere maybe along US 278 or just north of Birmingham. All right, instability values. This is this evening at 6 o'clock. They're moderate. This run's showing instabilities of about 750 to 1,000 joules here this evening. Helicity values clearly higher north of the state. Although this run has the numbers a little higher. Look, we can't rule out the chance of an isolated tornado. You just can't do that in a situation like this. But again, those are, not overwhelming. And there's the EHI, the Energy Helicity Index, and those values are higher north of here, but certainly significant. Looks like they peak at about 1.5 to 2 down here. So again, we'll roll with the chance of strong to severe storms this afternoon and tonight. Say the main risk, 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. Main risk, damaging straight-line winds. An isolated tornado possible, but not likely. All right, tomorrow we're kind of in between everything. This is the RPM at noon. Now, you don't see anything there, but I think the front stalls out north of here. So with the unstable air mass, there could be a few scattered showers or storms, but probably nothing organized. All right, Friday, here comes the next trough. We'll kind of stay with the upper look. This is noon Friday. There's midnight Friday night. And there's noon on Saturday. And this run is slower. The timing has just been all over the board here. But I'll tell you now, with this slower look, we'll have to look at putting a chance of storms back in there for early Saturday morning. This is the RPM valid at 6 o'clock Friday evening. And any of that stuff you see there could be severe. And initially, the storms that kind of get out of ahead of the line, the discrete cells, could possibly produce a tornado. The parameters will be a little more significant for a tornado Friday evening. But look what happens at midnight Friday night. The whole thing rolls over into a nasty-looking squall line. And again, obviously with that, damaging straight-line winds is the main concern, and not tornadoes when that thing gets lined up like that. We'll check the severe weather parameters for this event. This is 6 o'clock Friday evening, the surface-based CAPE, or instability, the buoyancy of the air, the tendency for air parcels to rise freely, and clearly the numbers are higher here. You've got instabilities over 2,000 joules ahead of that cold front. We'll look at the helicity values, and they are, again, not overwhelming, but they are higher. So, yes, there could be an isolated tornado Friday evening, but again, it could be the main widespread issue would be with the damaging straight-line wind possibility with a squall line. There's the significant tornado parameter, the STP, Friday evening at 6 o'clock. And the bigger numbers are to the north. And down here, the STP goes over a 1. That's not overwhelming. So, again, is there a tornado threat with this thing Friday evening? Yes. But the greater issue could, again, be straight-line winds. But you know what we're going to say. Let's get the storms out of here tonight. Then we can really focus on that. Okay, so this is Saturday at noon, and yes, the model's slower again. This thing is just all over the board. The last few runs have gotten it out of here, and the day Saturday would be dry. Now this is suggesting the storms could linger into maybe Saturday morning, mid-morning, with clearing after that. So if you got something early Saturday morning, the confidence is not all that high. But if this trend keeps up, we'll have to hang on to a chance of storms into maybe mid-morning Saturday. Sunday should be a gorgeous day. Sunny and pleasant highs for the weekend, probably low 60s as we cool down a bit. Monday of next week, we're dry. Here's Tuesday. And Wednesday, all of a sudden, this run is kind of backed off on this big storm thing. We've seen some runs with a big storm event Wednesday. Now that feature is gone. There's the following day on the 8th. And again, that doesn't look like an overwhelming type event. We'll check the end of the forecast on March 15th, middle of the month. Cold air? Nope, not with that look. Troughing well north of here, and that looks awfully mild. If not warm, we're watching for signs of that famous late-season cold snap that almost always comes through here, but no evidence, at least for now, for the next 2 weeks. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you live around these parts, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.
The first thing you've got to understand, you cannot rely on an outdoor siren. You cannot hear those inside a home, a building, a church. It won't work. You've got to get something inside your house. That's a weather radio or maybe a smartphone app. We work with a company that's developed a wonderful weather radio app for Android phones and iPhones. It knows where you are, and if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you get the warning. And if you're not, you don't. It's an effective device, and it's a great way to be sure you get the warning.